Lights. Music. Let's get Christmassy. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Chelsea, and today we are going to be looking at the hyped books, or some of the hyped books in 2021. So I have got 10 books here that I believe were the most hyped in my honest opinion. Some honourable mentions though include Project Hail Mary, The Gauntlet and the Fist Beneath, Under the Whispering Door and Dune. Oh, and definitely like These Violent Delights, which came out last year, and The Kingdom of the Wicked. I feel like they have got a lot of hype, but they didn't come out this year, so I haven't really included them in this list. So out of these 10 books, I've actually only read one of them, and it's the shortest book on this list, but let's just get straight on in. I might give you a vague description, but once again, all of them will be linked down below for you. I think I just want to say whether I've read it, which obviously now you know I probably haven't, and why I thought it was so hyped. So let's get started. So the first one is definitely Malice by Heather Walter. So this is a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, except it's sapphic. So I believe our main characters are obviously Aurora, who is Sleeping Beauty, and a dark fairy who is trying to break the curse on her. I saw everyone read this earlier this year, like literally everyone. So many people had arcs, they were beautiful. It definitely inspired me and encouraged me to buy this book. I haven't read it yet. I meant to read it earlier this year. I think I've put it on a TBR or two, or in my head I have, and it's just not happened. So, you know, this one was definitely hyped. One I am definitely hoping to read in the new year, but you know what, my TBR has grown so much, I'm going to say that about all these books, and it might not happen. So there you go, but I know there is a sequel for this coming out, and I believe it comes out next year, so if I could read this before that, that would be fantastic. This next hyped book was Everywhere, and it's because this author is so well known. I think she is such a big integral part of like the fantasy genre that everyone bought her book, and that was A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. So this book is a new addition to the A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy, which is now obviously no longer a trilogy, and they revamped all of the covers. So every single book in the series already had a brand new cover in hardback and paperback. I don't think you can get the hardbacks anymore, because obviously as bookworms we have to have everything matching, which I completely understand. And everyone just went mad for this. There was a tour edition, as there are with a lot of Sarah J. Maas books. There is this edition, which was the signed edition from Waterstones, normal editions, everything. This was so hyped. It was everywhere. And I believe there were a couple of book boxes that did special, well, not special editions, but did boxes dedicated to this. One of which was a Illumicrate, who included, I think it was a normal edition of this book, and then they did dust jackets for all of them to try and help with the fact that some people didn't like these dust jackets and they like the old covers. But this book was literally everywhere when it came out, and I know there is already hype for the next one. I have not read this yet. I haven't even got past the first book, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I've read that already and I just haven't moved on, and I just need to. I know I need to. I want to understand, but honestly I swear Sarah J. Maas is like one of my autobook authors. She comes out with something, and whether I've read the rest of it or not, I buy it because I'm convinced it's going to be good. Because ever since I read House of Earth and Blood, I've fallen in love with the way she writes and creates her worlds. And obviously her earlier books, you can tell that her earlier books. But yeah, I think they're just going to get better and better and better. And I believe this is quite adult in its writing. So looking forward to seeing if I like it. So the next author is an author I believe is very beloved in the fantasy community, and that is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. So this is his newest release. Again, it came out this year. I saw it everywhere on Twitter. This is the edition I got from the Broken Binding. I even have my little bookmark in it still, which has a special edition design on it, which is really cool. Love that for me. I need to pre-order the sequel, which comes out next year in like May, I want to say. And yeah, I haven't read this. I saw this everywhere. Loads of people who are big fantasy readers read it, love his work. I have just fallen behind in my plans, so hopefully I can read this before the next one comes out, and I need to get on to pre-ordering the next one. And the cover for the next one is like a massive dog. If you haven't seen it, it's incredible, and it's like the Hunger of the Gods, I think is the name for the next one. Looks incredible. This sounds incredible, and I did read like the first couple of pages and said, oh, this is something I definitely need to read, and then just haven't got back to it since. So that will change, and I plan to read this soon, hopefully, so we'll see how that goes. Now, this book is again another one that was everywhere. There are special editions of it. Every special edition of it sold out everywhere. He is an author that writes quite a lot and quite dark stuff, and I don't know if you could have guessed who this is, but it is The Empire of the Vampire by Jade Fire. So this book, like I said, was everywhere. I've got the special edition from Illumicrate. Forbidden Planet had their own edition. Goldsboro had their own edition. There is a just standard edition. This is the Waterstones edition. It was like going to war for a copy of this. I saw it originally, and there is actually a vlog, so if you've been around since like earlier this year, you may have seen it, but there is a vlog where I talk about buying this edition of this book because I saw it on Waterstones before it had been announced anywhere. So they kind of like snuck it up to make sure no one broke the website. I had it in my basket and I went, oh, I'll order that tomorrow. Then someone told Jay Kristoff that it was up, and he obviously publicised it, and it sold out, and then I had to go to battle for an edition with Waterstones, and it was hell. But I got one, and I'm hoping to keep an eye out for the rest of them. I'm really looking forward to getting to this. This is like a new series. I believe it's going to be a new trilogy. Not too sure. But I am really excited to dive into it. Again, I read the first chapter or so, and it looked really good, and I did enjoy it. It's going to be a slow build. I can definitely tell that. So it's going to be one that I need to put a little bit of effort in to get past however many pages until it like all starts to pick up properly. But I am ready to do that. I just need a chunk of time off work so I can probably just sit and read it, which I'm hoping to have in the new year. So maybe I'll get this read in January. We'll see. This is going to be the one out of this list that I've actually read. And it's the shortest one on this list. This is Extraordinary by V.E. Schwab. This is the first graphic novel kind of in like the villains universe. So that's Vicious and Vengeful, which I haven't read yet. And this is the Illumicrate special edition with like a different cover colour, I think. I'm not too sure. It is signed as well, which is pretty cool. I really enjoyed this. I love the fact that in this one graphic novel I got a whole story, and I felt like it definitely had a beginning, middle and an end. Even though it was obviously joining into another world, I feel as though I haven't read the other two books in which this world is kind of conjoined with, and I don't feel like I needed to. I really got the story. I wasn't confused at all. I've read the other graphic novel that she's brought out, which is, I think it's like The Steel Prince or something, which is tied in with The Darker Shade of Magic. That confused the heck out of me. Was lost the entire time. So to have this one just throw me in and everything makes sense is amazing. And I do actually think this is the first graphic novel I've read where I have understood everything and actually really enjoyed the first book. I don't know why that is. Could be because I love V.E. Schwab and her writing. Not too sure. But I adored this, and I definitely think it's worth the hype. Again, so this is the Illumicrate edition. There's a normal edition. There was like Forbidden Planet editions, I think. They were everywhere. I don't think it was shouted about as much as some of these other books, but it was definitely hyped, and obviously V.E. Schwab is a well-known writer now. So whatever she brings out, people obviously flock to. And I love that for her, like, fair play. She writes amazing stuff, so she deserves all of the hype that she gets. So we are over halfway now. Number 6 is this one, which is Jade Fire Gold. Illumicrate did a special edition of this and hyped it up before it even came out, so I was vaguely aware of it, and obviously now Fairy Loot have done an edition as well. So I have heard the least about this, but I do feel as though it is very hyped still. People are doing reading vlogs for it and shouting about it, so I am really intrigued to get to this and see what the hype is all about. I don't really get what it is about. It is Girls of Paper and Fire meets A Song of Wraith and Ruin in June Cial Tan's stunning debut where ferocious action, shadowy intrigue, rich magic, and a captivating slow burn romance collide. Now, I don't know how much I'm going to love it for the slow burn romance, because I'm not a slow burn romance kind of person. I'm not a romance kind of person. But I have seen a lot of people talk about this, so hopefully I'm going to enjoy it just as much as everyone else seems to. Honestly, the last 4 books are all of the YA genre, and they have been massively hyped, and I'm excited to get to all of them. The first one being 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. So she writes something else, which I haven't read, and I'm going to tell you what it is because I feel like you should know. Ah, there you go. The Spin the Dawn and the Unravel the Dusk books duology things. So that's what she's already known for. This book I saw everywhere before I even got it in my, I believe this is a Fairy Loot edition, and everyone seems to be in love with it. I don't know if it's, is it a retelling? I feel like it could be. I feel like it is like a retelling of a myth or something. The back just says, a princess in exile, a shape-shifting dragon, which sounds incredible. I love dragons. I'm on board for anything with dragons. 6 enchanted cranes and an unspeakable curse. It will take more than magic to find their way home. So I'm actually really excited for this. Again, I've heard loads of people shout about it, so maybe I would like to know what the whole hype is around this book and what is so fantastic about it, and maybe once I've read it I'll understand, but we won't know until I try it, will we? So maybe I should just do that. This is another author that has an incredible world already built and has done very well off of that series, and that is Roundbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. So this is the author of the Red Queen series. I think there's 4 books and some novellas, not too sure, but this is her newest release, and I straight away bought this. I bought a signed edition from Waterstones. This is the Fairy Loot signed edition. So I now own 2 of these books, but you know, that's what happens when you see hype for books. So I haven't actually read the Red Queen series. I just got dragged into this a little bit because I saw loads of people talking about it and how the Red Queen series is good, but it gets better the more it goes on. So in theory, this should be amazing because that series went on and loads of people love that series. So I feel like this isn't necessarily a hyped book, but it's an author that is already well known. Therefore, she garners a lot of hype in herself whenever she brings out new books, which says a lot, bearing in mind that Waterstones had a signed special edition and so did Fairy Loot, but it wasn't included in a box. So that's pretty cool. This one is a squire, the survivor of a failed quest, an immortal, timeless and unfathomable, an assassin, skilled and heartless, an old sorceress holding secrets behind her teeth, and a pirate's daughter, the ward's last hope. The heroes are gone and the fight to save the world has only just begun. So to me, it already sounds pretty good anyways. So I'm really easily dragged into hype, as you may be able to tell. But I'm looking forward to getting to this one as well. We'll see what I think. We'll see if I think it deserves the hype. The 9th book is the one and only Stephanie Garber with Once Upon a Broken Heart. This again is a special Fairy Loot edition, which I have a lot of special edition books now that I've been well and truly ingrained in the BookTube, Book Twitter, Bookstagram community. I love a pretty book anyways. But this is hyped everywhere. So many people were hyping it up. Again, this was another one where I saw loads of people with arcs and putting their reviews up early, and there was so much marketing hype around this book. Stephanie Garber herself did loads of stuff on her Instagram stories and on her Instagram page. She's already started doing it for the sequel, so I'm already drawn into that as well, but in order to do that, I need to read this. The story as well, it really helps, I think, that Stephanie Garber has written this world within the Caraval world, although they're separate stories, so the world is already there, people are already in love with the world and some of the characters that may cross over into here, so that kind of helps with the hype already, and then her writing is beautiful, so that definitely helps as well. I'm not sure this would be a 5-star prediction. I am really excited to get to it though. But yeah, definitely hype, definitely everywhere. And there was a period of time on Bookstagram where everyone's photos was of this book, like the arc of this book, because it was stunning. So, I mean, I was definitely drawn in. And the final book that I'm including in my 10 hyped books that I believe were very hyped is none other than Aurora's End, which is the 3rd and final book in the Aurora Rising trilogy. Oh, the Aurora Cycle trilogy, sorry, I suck at knowing what the actual series are called. This is by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, so everyone was excited about this, like, incredibly so. Obviously the first 2 books have already come out. This book has special editions once again from, this is a Luma crate, I think Forbidden Planet do one. I don't know who else does one. Does Goldsboro do one? I don't know. Maybe. But I'm so excited. I am actually already reading this. I have got a bookmark in this book already. I'm not very far in. You can't... I would show you, but yeah, I'm that far in. So I'm not very far in at all. But there is so much hype about this, and I've heard so many people talking about it and the ending, and I know it's going to break my heart, which I think is kind of why I'm putting off reading it. But I just need to sit down and read it. I do genuinely think this one will definitely live up to the hype, because the rest of the series was fantastic. Most of these books on this list are mainly first books in new series, apart from this one and A Court of Silver Flames. So a lot of them I won't expect them to be 5 stars, but I think this might break my heart, and if this makes me emotional then it will be straight away 5 stars, 100%. So look out for my thoughts and feelings on this book. So there you go, there are 10 books that I think were hyped in 2021, all for different reasons. Most of them I have seen either on Bookstagram or Book Twitter or Booktube in general, with people posting about arcs or the authors getting hyped for the books, or people that I follow on those platforms that haven't necessarily got arcs, but I've just seen an author that they love and they talk about it. That's another way I get drawn into hype. I would love to do a reading hyped books vlog, but currently I suck at reading, so I'm not too sure how that will go. Let me know in the comments down below if that is something you'd be interested though, because I would actually genuinely like to know whether I get on with these hyped books as well as everyone else seems to have, because as much as I've been drawn in to buy these hyped books, do I think they're worth the hype? I don't know. We'll have to see, and I'll have to read this, or maybe I'll read these books throughout next year and I'll react to this video. Who knows? We'll see. Or it'll just get shoved under the rug and I won't react to it at all. It's happened before, but it's fine. So that's everything for today's video. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports me and my channel. Leave me a comment down below what you think is the most hyped book of this year, and have you read it? Because I want to know, because obviously all these books are really, really hyped. Every book that I think is hyped I haven't actually read, so that's really helpful, isn't it? And if you don't want to leave me if you don't want to leave me a full comment and you just want to leave me an emoji, leave me the little emoji with the heart eyes, because everyone seems to love these books and just see love when they see them. So just leave that down below if you don't want to leave a full comment. And if you want to see more of me, I am uploading every single day now until Christmas Eve, and if you want to stick around and get notified of that, please consider subscribing down below and ringing that notification bell so you get notified every single time I upload new videos. After Christmas I will go back to my normal schedule, which will be Wednesdays and Sundays, so be sure to stick around if you want to see more bookish content from me. But otherwise, that is everything for today's video. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Bye.